Well, I, for one, am glad that we've now made our way into the week because, frankly, I've come to despise the weekends. The weekends have kind of sucked in terms of price, and this weekend was no different. But I will say I actually do like what happened this weekend. That might sound strange, and I'm going to elaborate more on this in this video, but it seems like this actually may have been just a little bit of a trap. And we're going to talk about that as well as a few other things going on here. So if you guys are new or haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, hit that bell. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So ADA's had a lot of volatility as of late, and this weekend was no different. We were as high as 73 cents and as low as 66.5 cents. So that's a pretty decent sized range. That's about an 8% from the top down to the bottom. And what we're doing right now is we're starting off on a little bit of a red note. Right now, ADA is down about 0.7%. We're sitting around 67 cents. And I just have to say, this last hourly candle, what the hell? Who was dumping the crypto market? I swear. But what we're seeing, throughout the space is kind of a similar thing. BTC dealing with that similar sell-off about an hour ago or so. And we're just kind of getting into a week of questions, right? What is the US money going to do? Is it going to continue to follow this trend? Are people going to freak out? Because obviously in 2 days, we have the FOMC meeting coming, and we obviously have a very high likelihood of no interest rates taking place. And it's the question of, what is the sentiment going to be heading into that? It's probably going to be a big nothing burger. But again, the big thing that does move the market is what Jerome Powell's sentiment is following that. So I'll be curious to see what things look like come Wednesday. But what we are seeing is usually good signs earlier on in the week. So I do want to remind people that last week we kind of entered the week on the same note. We actually had back-to-back red days on Saturday and Sunday. Then Monday we actually had a green day, not a big green day, right? But we're actually in this spot where ADA is very oversold. On the daily, we're approaching this oversold range on the stochastic RSI. 12-hour, we're oversold. 4-hour, we're oversold. So we're seeing a lot of these things flashing, just saying, hey, this is opportunity time, right? Now, again, I'm not telling anybody what to do, but what we're actually seeing is, again, very similar trend on BTC. BTC obviously starting the week on a very similar note here as well. And yet, despite that, institutional money is kind of flashing their hands a little bit, showing their hands. So BlackRock has said that BTC has become too significant to overlook, warning that the risk of missing out now outweighs the risk of holding it. Now, this could be them obviously just trying to suck people in for exit liquidity, but at the same time, they've again printed that very distinct trend, and that is accumulation. BlackRock, guys, for those that haven't been paying attention, they have done some of the largest buying we have seen from them just over the last 2 weeks. So I'm talking about throughout the entire time that institutional players have had access to crypto, to spot ETF products. So that's a big deal. Now, what we also saw over the weekend was Donald Trump said, I want crypto. Crypto is important because if we don't do it, China is going to. And this is one of the first times we've heard crypto really mentioned as of late, which is a nice change. We obviously don't want things to just kind of fall to the wayside. We want it to be a big focus of the US, and we know that there is a lot of interest surrounding this US embrace of crypto, and it's taken time to get there. We're obviously waiting for regulation to come surrounding stable coins as well, but those things do in fact take time. We're going through a major overhaul here in the US. And just for a few positive things, guys, again, remember, we've had a major overhaul in terms of the SEC. We now have a pro-crypto SEC chair, which is a lot bigger deal than I think people realize. And that likely means we have the green light for a lot of these spot ETF products coming. And, I saw a lot of people asking me questions about when this ADA spot ETF is coming. And I believe the next deadline is it May? I think it's May, sometime in May here. And the overall final approval, if they keep pushing it, or the final decision, I believe is back in October. So we have still a lot of time that we might see before we do in fact have an ADA spot ETF approval. But that being said, why I'm liking what took place over the course of the weekend, not to kick this all the way to the back of the video, is we actually saw a lot of shorts get sucked in. A lot of bears get sucked in. I don't know if you guys have checked out the liquidation heat map or not. When we take a look at ADA, look at all this that is filled in over the weekend, all this short interest, guys. This This is probably it's hundreds of millions of dollars worth of ADA sitting above here in terms of short leverage liquidation. And what this means is that basically if we hit 69 cents with some momentum and volume, you could see ADA actually run all the way up to 74 cents. I'm not saying that's going to be the case, but look at ADA's volatility again over the course of the last week. We've seen the top side of this get very aggressive. We've witnessed almost every day very aggressive pumps, very quick pumps. All right. The market keeps showing these signs that it does in fact want to run. And look at this, guys. There's almost a 10% imbalance to the short side when it comes to ADA. When we look at something like BTC, it's even worse. This looks absolutely ridiculous. The amount of short leverage that is here, guys. We could very quickly see the market, even though it started red today, we could in fact see it flip around and start to move up. One thing that's also indicating that is, I don't know if anybody is looking at the CME, right? But what we are actually seeing right now is a CME gap to the upside. And this is all the way up at about 97K. BTC's at about 94.5 on futures right now. Okay. Now, that being said, we still do have a downside CME gap. This is all the way down at about 91.7. We could still go down and close this. Understand that. We could see that today, tomorrow, Wednesday, whenever, right? There's no specific time frame. And I have to say that there's no guarantee that you need to close these things either. Sometimes it just doesn't happen. The market likes to close it, but historically speaking, there are some CME gaps that just kind of get left in the dust. I do want to reference, there was actually a couple of them that took place all the way back here on BTC's run up in early 2021 that didn't get closed until the bear market cycle. So it's very possible that at some point this thing could just get running and run away. And if we see a lot of those signs that we saw early last week, or not early last week, over the course of last week and the week prior, where institutional money is positive and they're buying and they're just continuing to accumulate, it could force the market's hand and we could be talking about a very exciting week ahead. So what that could mean for ADA, obviously in the short term, is, a potential breakout. We have continued to see a lot of that's exchange supply just be removed day after day after day. It's a very exciting sign, but that's all I got for you guys. So the big day this week is obviously going to be Wednesday. The early week, we could see some chop. If shorts try to push down too hard, we could see some liquidations to the upside. If longs try to push too hard from the bottom, we could see some long liquidations and yada, yada. So appreciate you guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below. What are we going to get heading into Wednesday? But I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.